Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcott, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Welcome to my channel, Kimberly Shapcott Property, Tax and Accountancy. Today we're going to be focusing on the bookkeeping side of your property business and what you need to be focusing on to make sure you've got the right solution for you. Today I've got Aaron Patrick from the QuickBooks Chap to join me to discuss our topic of the day of what you need in your bookkeeping software and some of the positives that QuickBooks might have to offer you as well. Let me welcome you to Aaron Patrick. Hi Aaron.
Hello Kimberly, thank you very much for having me on today. I'm looking forward to going through with you some practical tips on why cloud accounting is going to be perfect for all you property developers out there, and we're going to make sure that you have all the tips and tricks you need to be able to pick the right software as well. My name is Aaron Patrick, I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, and also head of accounts here at Office. Now, Kimberly, what are we going to go through today? What would you like me to show you to your wonderful audience?
Well, Aaron, today we're really looking at what are the key things that cloud accounting can really give to our property investors out there, and why cloud computing? What are your thoughts on that sort of topic?
Great question there, Kimberly. Now, I know straight away that you've already gone through your wonderful audience and talked about making tax digital. So that's unfortunately going to be the main driving point for a lot of you. That's going to be a lot of you are being forced over to using some form of software. So let's put it on the spin and let's think about it from a positive point of view. Let's think about what the benefits are going to be. And if you're thinking about moving over to cloud computing and cloud software, let's talk about what the benefits are. Now, for me, there are two massive benefits. The first one is that you and your tax advisor, hopefully Kimberly Shapcott, is able to actually go in and look at the same data, and that's been really, really powerful. You think about what we've been doing lately with the pandemic and all of the issues that we accountants and business advisors have had to help our wonderful clients. Well, you think of how useful it's been for us to be able to go into their data, have a look at it and see where that client's going. So that's the first thing. You get this wonderful collaboration because the software itself isn't installed on one particular device, it's stored in the cloud. Anyone can have access to it that you allow them to have access to. So that means that you can have your business advisor, maybe your business partner, maybe whoever you're going to need to have access to that data, they're going to have access to it. And that's made it so much better in terms of being able to give advice to the right people. The second one is, again, because it's not on a single piece of device, means that you get to take it absolutely everywhere, and not just on computer, but you get to take it in a mobile phone as well. So you could walk around your property, you can find bits that you need to maybe invoice your tenant for, or maybe you've got to think about looking to record a particular expense. Well, your mobile phone is going to give you all that power to do that there and then. So they're my two reasons why I think that this software is going to be really good. Kimberly, what else would you like me to show you?
Well, I suppose the next thing is what features should people be looking for in the software itself? What is kind of, I suppose, the minimum that they should have? Now, the first thing that crops into my head is make sure it's got a bank feed because, hey, that saves you having to enter all the data. But what other sorts of things should they be looking for on their software that are kind of the key benefits, features that we need to be making sure on that checklist to make sure that it covers off all the key things to help us run our businesses more smoothly?
Great question there, Kimberly. And tell you what though, my name is Aaron Patrick, QuickBooks Chap, so I am going to be a little bit biased and I'm going to show you QuickBooks, but there are a lot of other software options out there. And I'm sure if you stay tuned to this channel, Kimberly's going to go through some of the other options for you so that you can make sure you get the right one for you. But let's just focus on QuickBooks because that's my name. But again, make sure that you realise that most of this software, or the features I'm going to show you in this software, are going to appear in various different software, into different forms. So first of all then, let's get you over to the screen in front of us. So Kimberly's here as well, so we're going to have a look now at exactly what we've got in front of us. And this is a copy of QuickBooks Online. Now, Kimberly alluded to it a couple of seconds ago. One of the most important features that we can get out here, and one of the bits that becomes really, really, really important, is this idea of being able to add your bank account. So as you can see on this left-hand side here, I've got the option to go to banking. I jump into my banking area, and straight in front of me, I have all the bank accounts I've connected to this particular business. Now, I can have multiple bank accounts at this point. I can add my savings account, I can have different current accounts. You know, you may be in a position where you have multiple bank accounts, maybe individual bank accounts for each individual property, maybe, or some sort of item like that. Well, in QuickBooks Online, you can add as many bank accounts as you want to, and with other software as well. And the benefits of that is you're getting this information flowing directly into the software. So what that means for you is that means that you're getting that data going in. And if you go and put a transaction on your bank account, that means it's going to appear in your bookkeeping software, saving you a lot of time. What do you think of that one, Kimberly?
I think that's great, and I think one of the key things here is you've alluded to just bank accounts, but actually you can be putting things like your credit cards on as well. So if you are using a couple of credit cards, even if they're personal, we can worry about the accounting aspects of that at a later stage, but you can put all these different ones on, so it just gets all the data into one place at a time, and then you just have to allocate things to the right places.
Exactly. And it's all about, the software are all designed now for getting that data into the software as quickly and as smoothly and as efficiently as they possibly can. So not only can we attach bank accounts, which again is an absolute game changer. You ask anyone who's had to sit there going through their bank accounts and having to allocate what this expense for, was that expense for. Imagine that data just flowing into your software and you be able to actually adapt it and put it into the right place really efficiently. Absolute game changer. But not only that, but any transactions that are outside of the bank account. So imagine you've gone and you've got yourself some cash expense, for example, you've gone to the post office to buy a stamp, whatever it's going to be, then you can bring that transaction in really easily. And it's not necessarily going to be on the desktop either. You have the option to go and do it in your mobile phone.
Which is absolutely fantastic, because that way, if you are waiting outside of viewing or you've got 5-10 minutes to kill, you could actually sit on your phone, which I think we're going over to in a moment, and actually start dealing with all the transactions there. So it just limits that wasted time, especially if you are on a day of viewings and you've got 15-20 minutes to kill. You could actually just get up to date with all the business, bookkeeping and the admin side of things, which is fantastic to have less time wasted in your business's day.
So as Kimberly alluded to there, we can go and not only look at QuickBooks Online on our computer like I am now, I'm logged into a browser, but I have the opportunity to go over and look at my mobile phone as well. So here's my mobile phone on screen for us, and you can see that we're seeing the same data coming through. Here in front of me now is all of the data that we were looking at on that other screen, just in mobile form. And what this gives us the opportunity is to always have access to this data. So if I need to make sure that I've got enough money in to cover maybe my mortgage payment this month or whatever it's going to be, just from your pocket, you can get out your mobile phone and have a look at how your business is doing. That's really powerful. But what I think the real power of this is about adding data into QuickBooks Online as well. So as a real great example here, imagine that you're doing a lot of mileage, having to go back and forth to a property, or you're having to go and pick something up for that on behalf of the property. Maybe you have to go to B&Q or wherever it is you need to go to. So you're doing genuine business expenses. You want to be making sure that you don't miss out on that mileage, because that mileage is going to be critical for keeping those tax bills down as low as possible. How do you record mileage nice and quickly? Well, I imagine you'll be taking your mobile phone with you, so why not let your mobile phone and QuickBooks Online do the hard work for you? And it works like this. So if I go over here and I go to my menu button down the bottom, it's going to pop up with me with all the options within QuickBooks. And we're going to have a quick look at a few of these in a bit. But the one I want you to look at straight away is that mileage button in that bottom left-hand corner. When I click on the mileage button down here, you can see there's my car nicely put out there for me. But you can see here that it's already recording all this mileage. And you may be wondering how I got that data in there. Well, the way that it works is it uses what's called auto tracking. And the way that auto tracking works is, as long as you've got your mobile phone in your pocket, then you have the opportunity to be able to let QuickBooks record the mileage on your behalf. And when it records the mileage on your behalf, all you need to do is go to that transaction and you swipe left or you swipe either right. Left or right. Left is going to be for personal and right's going to be for business. And you're there being able to go through and be able to see if it's a business or personal transaction. Kimberly, what do you think to that then? What do you think to mileage on your mobile phone?
That is absolutely incredible, especially for those that I know are doing regular viewings. To keep track of that sort of journey really does save time and energy trying to figure out where have I been and what have I been doing. Because let's be honest, it's hard work keeping track of these things and can be quite time consuming, unfortunately. So the easier we can make it, the better we can keep track, and the more expenses we can be setting off against our rental income.
Definitely, definitely. I also really like about it is that you can just see it coming up on the bottom of the screen there. I'll just show it on this screen as well, but you can see how it's now asking you for your favourite spots. So what that means is that you can really automate this process as well. So if you're having to go back and forth to the same place, you can set that as automatically to be business use. Therefore, it's going to record that for you automatically, which is definitely a plus.
That's fantastic for all the properties that you actually purchase. So your viewings, you might need to be a bit more manual in the process, but anything that you've purchased, and we know that's definitely one of the properties owned by your business, perfect.
Now, the other feature that I really like about having a mobile phone is, again, about putting information straight from the mobile phone into QuickBooks Online or whichever software solution you're choosing, is the idea of being able to what they call as receipt snap. So you'll see it's in the bottom there on the little table, but also if I was on my main screen, so I'm back on my main screen here, you can see at the very top there, it's inviting me to press that as well. Now, as I made earlier, I have a nice little receipt that I've incurred on my business property journey, as I know Kimberly likes to call it. And from there, what you get the opportunity to do is, I want to record this expense. I wasn't able to use my bank account or anything like that. I just had the cash that was on me, but that doesn't mean I'm not entitled to this expense. Even so, even if I had paid this via my own bank account, I'd probably want a copy of this receipt to come with me, because that's going to be my way of being able to prove that this was a business expense. So in all circumstances, as soon as I've got a receipt in my hand, I want to get a digital copy of that. And it can't be any simpler. All I do is I press that snap receipt function, just like this. That's going to automatically open up my camera. I then get to put my camera on there and I get to take a photo of it. QuickBooks is then going to read that for me. I get the option to maybe crop that photo a little bit more. So if I do want to make sure that I'm right in the view of it, I can crop it if I need to. I can rotate it if it's not a great receipt. And if I'm happy with that photo, all I do is I press that use photo button, and as simple as that, I've now recorded that transaction. How amazing is that technology? What do you think, Kimberly?
That is amazing, especially if you're having investor meetings, if you're out doing viewings, especially if you're away from your home location and you need to grab a coffee and you've got subsistence to claim. It's amazing. And even just for if you are doing bits of repairs and maintenance yourself and you're not leaving it to your agent, you can pop to B&Q and just get that, I don't know, mold spray or a bit of paint or something like that. And again, all the receipts, it makes it a lot easier to hopefully keep track. And I believe if you take a photo of the receipt and it does go through your business bank account, it does the work for you as well and asks you a few questions, say, does this receipt match to this bank payment as well, which speeds up the process even more.
Yeah, exactly right. It is got so much functionality there in terms of being able to extract that information and use that information. So I've taken the photo, that is now processed in the background. Notice I haven't put any numbers in there, so I've not said how much it was or the date or anything like that. But what it does there is it can see which ones I've taken photos of. So I now know that I'm up to date in terms of the transactions that are there. And if I go back to my browser experience and I go back to my main version of QuickBooks, I can click on this receipt option in the top of my banking area just here, and that's going to take me to that same screen we've just looked at. And as you can see here, it's started to work with that data. It's found my Virgin Media business expense, it's found my Costco receipt, it's found the transactions that I need to, and if it doesn't know what it is and it hasn't found them, then it gives me the option to create it directly from here as well. And the power of this is the fact that as soon as I go in, it's automatically reading expenses, reading the amounts, even though this is a terrible, terrible receipt, as you will probably say there, Kimberly.
That That is terrible.
QuickBooks was able to find that information. It was able to extract it for you. So it's been able to find the fact that there's a date over here of the 1st of the 3rd, 2020. It was able to find the amount here. And if you are VAT registered, which you guys probably aren't as much, but if you are, it was able to split that VAT for you as well. So it's got that information. It's going to tell you if there's a duplicate. So we've just put this one in here, this Annie's Burger Shack. Well, it's going to tell me there's a duplicate there. So I've already got that one in there. I can't claim that one again. So it's automating that process. And the other great thing as well is you can upload from your computer. So not only do you get to use your phone to get that information in there, but if you've got a file hanging around, maybe a PDF of some work that the builder's done for you or something like that, then just drag that in and use the same technology to extract that information, get it into QuickBooks, and even more so, you can send it in via email as well. So if you've got it on your phone and you've just been sent an email from the builder again, you can send that over straight to your customer really, really easily. What do you think to that one, Kimberly?
That's what I was going to suggest next. So no, I think great minds think alike with this. There is so many ways to get the data in, which hopefully means that you can get the right information out. So the first step is get it all in there so it makes it all come together. And then the second thing, which I think is where we're moving on to next, is what information it pumps out at the other side of things when it's all been processed to help manage our businesses.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is where the software itself gets underutilized, and it's something that we definitely on our channel are trying to push as much as possible to get the most out of that data you're putting through. You see, most of the time you're putting that data in for your tax returns or to be able to make sure that you're compliant in some form or another, but actually the amount of data that's there gives you real good opportunity to make the right decisions for your business. So let's have an example of some of those. So cash flow forecast. If I jump over on the left hand side, I've got this little cash flow button here, and QuickBooks is clever enough to have a look through my bank account and start figuring out how my business is going to go. So I can look backwards, which is fine, but more importantly is about looking forwards. And what I can do here is I can see how much money I'm expected to bring in, and all of this is done automatically. It's basically predicted transactions from my bank account. So it said that I've got my mortgage due on this date, I've got a loan due on that date, I've got this amount here, I've got all those transactions coming in, and it's going to basically look at that and try and predict what it thinks my cash flow is going to be. And that gives me a really good indication of maybe where there could be issues, where there could be problems, where I'm going to have to start making some crucial decisions about my business. But the fact that it's doing automatically, the fact that it's just doing this and predicting that information without me having to do anything is giving me the opportunity to make those decisions with the right amount of data. What do you think to this one, Kimberly?
Well, I think this is fabulous because with what we're doing, there's quite a lot of consistency in what we're actually receiving. So if we've got rental income coming in, we've got expenses going out, they tend to be relatively similar each month. However, if you've maybe got a project, you can see your consistent ones and then add different transactions in where you know you're going to be having big expenses, which will actually give you an idea of what's going to be happening. So it's definitely a useful tool for us as a business property owner to actually look at how all this comes together.
Yeah, definitely. And what I really like about it is how seamless it is. It's not that, like, for cash flow forecasting, you can go down a route of being able to use other software, or you could do it yourself on Excel. But obviously that's time, and that's going to be a project you have to keep up to date and you're going to have to keep manually doing. On this one, it's just doing it for you, and it's doing it automatically for you. And I think that's really powerful, and that's the difference really. And we've found that a lot with our clients. That's the difference of a client actually using a cash flow planner and not using a cash flow planner. The fact that it's there and it's available to use just gives you that opportunity. And when you've got someone like Kimberly working with you, then you're going to have the opportunity for them to be able to give their insight and understand exactly what's going on. And they're going to utilize the data that you're putting into QuickBooks, and you're going to get something out of that data because they're going to be able to advise you accordingly. Now, when it comes to reporting, we're not going to stop there. We have within QuickBooks Online so many reporting requirements. So you'll see here, this report page just goes on and on and on and on. Now, it can be overwhelming, but I promise you there's some really good reporting options in here that we're going to be utilizing. So, for example, what you'll see here is my personal favourite one is if I scroll to the top here, and I'm going to go and look what's called a profit and loss account. So basically going to understand what income we've received from our properties, less what expenses we've incurred. It's going to tell us what profit we made in a certain period. And what's really powerful, especially for property, is the fact that, as Kimberly just said about consistency, you can use a report here called profit and loss by month. And all I'm going to do is show you the last 365 days and run the report. And what it's going to do is it's going to split my income into each individual month areas. So straight away you're going to know if you've missed one, or if there's something not right, or if there's something missing, because you're going to see there's consistency there, and you're going to be able to see maybe what's missing or what's not. And then when it comes to expenses, you're going to have exactly the same. So when it comes to maybe you've not incurred a travel expense in a particular month, why is that? Maybe you've not had your rent or your mortgage being shown, why is that? So in here I'm looking straight away at this particular month and I'm going, May 21 doesn't look right for me. I've not got my mortgage transaction shown there. So just by using simple reporting like this is going to give you more confidence in that data and be able to get most of it out of it. And one of the real key features of QuickBooks Online is also about segmenting data. Kimberly, what do you think to this so far?
I love this report, and this is definitely something I use personally in our property businesses to actually, exactly what you said, assess whether I've got everything in the right place, how we're doing on a month-to-month basis, especially on some of our larger HMOs, and how many rooms we might have a void in for a month or two, or whether it's fully tenanted. And that probably leads directly on to where we're going with the segmentation, with if you put in which property it relates to, or even you can go down to which room, especially in a HMO, if you've got multiple rooms, you could look at how each room individually is performing. It's actually a great way of managing each property or each room, or seeing how different things are working in your business, depending on what information you want out. So how do you find the segmentation working, and the classes and locations as they're termed in QuickBooks?
Yeah, to be honest, it was the reason we chose QuickBooks. So one of the great things about QuickBooks Online is it's designed to be just really straightforward for the end user. For you guys watching this here, it's designed to be able to be as user-friendly as possible. And that's really, really powerful. That's the thing that kind of draws most people to it. But one of the things that is really useful about QuickBooks Online is the ability that if you go behind the curtain, you look behind all of the fanciness, you have the opportunity to really tailor it to what you need. So for example, if I go to my company cog in the top right hand corner, I go to accounts and settings, then again, I'm getting a whole raft of settings here, and then you don't necessarily need to know each and every one, but there's certain settings in here that can be really powerful for you. As an example, if I went to my expenses and I went to billable expenses here, I get the opportunity to be able to mark a transaction and mark it as billable. So for you guys, if you want to mark that this expense is actually relating to a particular property, you can mark it directly there. So you can say, I've had to go to B&Q, I've had to buy this particular item, and it's against this particular income. You're going to be able to put it there. So that's one of the ways. But the ways I think becomes really, really powerful is, as Kimberly just said, is the idea of using this categories option just here. So within my advanced section, I have the option to go into track classes and then track locations. Now, both of these are ways in which you can start really looking at that reporting option that we've got and really deep dive into how you want that report to work for you. So as you can see here, I've got my track classes ticked, and I've got my track locations. And I think it's this track locations that's going to be the most beneficial to most of you. And let's see how that works. So if I close this down now and I go back to my settings and I go back to my all lists, you'll see in all lists, I now have a location list here down the bottom. Now what this gives me an idea for, and this is for a different type of client, but you can see how my Derby store, my London store, my online store, you can most definitely have all your different properties on there. And as Kimberly said as well, you can even subcategory them for each individual room of that particular property. And what does that do? Well, if I go to my reporting section now, and I look at that same profit and loss account that we were just looking at, so this time I'm just going to go in and look at a standard profit and loss account, you'll notice that if I can display columns, I can do it by locations. And we've already defined those locations in this particular data. So I'm just going to put all dates so we can run it. I press run report. And as you can see now, it's still saying that same profit and loss information that we looked at before, but now it's splitting into my individual locations, or my individual properties as you would class them. So it gives you that opportunity to really go into your data, set it up so that you can run reports to get confidence again in that data. It's really easy to set up. Once you've set it up, you then get the opportunity to get some really cool reports out of it. What do you think of that, Kimberly?
That's amazing, really is, because this really helps to identify which properties are doing okay, which ones are we having loads of maintenance issues. And if you are looking at expanding, reducing your portfolio, or seeing where you need to focus your time, this really does start to give you that information, and you can see what you need to be doing. And because it's so easy to keep it up to date with the accessibility, it's always hopefully going to be pretty much up to date to give you a true picture of where things are at the moment, whether it be today or for up to the end of last month, depending how frequently you keep everything up to date.
And the good thing as well about the reporting, you'll notice how passionate I am about the reporting idea. I really do keep trying to hammer home the idea that if you're having to put this data in for any reason, make the most out of the data. And if all these reports that you're looking at now look a little bit overwhelming, and for non-accountants or non-numbers people, they probably can, don't forget as well, we have the brand new performance center at the top here. And what that basically does is we're looking at the same data, but hopefully a more easy to read idea. And we can still go down into the locations, and we can go down into that in minute detail, but what we can do is we can put that data in more graphical format. So don't worry about how you consume your data, how you like to see information and graphs and have those performance indicators shown to you. QuickBooks will have you covered. There'll be a way of being able to mimic or create the data in the format that works best for you. I'm sure you've got lots of clients and people out there that would much prefer a graph over some profit and loss account.
Yes, definitely. There's definitely people who are numbers people and those that are definitely not. But there is definitely ways to consume all that information in the right way. And I think even benefit from it sending you an email each month with that data as well to make it quick and easy to get. The main thing is you keep it up to date and it will help you run your business.
Now, it's not all roses though. There are some limitations for you just to be aware of. First of all, there's a cost associated with this as well. But if you contact Kimberly, she'll be able to make sure that you get in contact with the best way of making sure that you get the best solution for you. But the issue could be that if you're getting your payments coming from a management company, therefore the money that you've received in your bank account doesn't quite match the income that you received because they've taken out charges or repairs or whatever it's going to be, then there are some extra steps that you're going to do. Now, I'm pretty sure Kimberly's going to have a video on that pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that one. But apart from those two limitations, you really do have a real great time of using QuickBooks Online or any of the other cloud accounting software out there. Back to you, Kimberly.
So as you can see, there is some really great features and benefits to using software like QuickBooks. Now, on a separate video, we'll cover when it may be the right time to move from something like Excel to QuickBooks, and everyone's got their own take on that, but we'll cover some of the reasons why one may be better than the other, especially in the early stages, so keep an eye out for that video on the channel. If you've got any questions for either myself or Aaron and how should you be going about using it, then please do leave a comment in the box below, and Aaron and I will see how we can help you find the right solution for you and get the most out of that software. If you want any help with setting up on QuickBooks, do contact me at Shapcott's Accountants. We're platinum partners with QuickBooks and can offer some real great solutions for you at great prices. Please do let us know what you think of our video today in the comments below, and any other questions you may have about what software solutions will work for you. Please do like the video and share it with anyone who's considering their bookkeeping options at the moment. Let's make tax less taxing.